Hi, everybody. It's Angelo Caruso here with another Talk to Me podcast. A quick reminder before I introduce my special guest today. If you're listening to the audio version of this session, you want to be sure to check out the video versions on YouTube. It's the Angelo Caruso channel. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can also check out the audio version of these programs. All of the episodes are available on Podbean, iTunes, all of the major podcast platforms. As always, we appreciate comments, shares, likes, and on YouTube, of course, click that red button to subscribe and click that notification bell so that you're notified of all new content. My guest today is a new hero of mine. This is David Schulz. Hi, David.
Hello, Michael.
David is public image chair for both his Rotary district, which is 7090 in Canada A, and also his Rotary Club, Fonthill Club?
Fonthill Club, correct.
Yep. And David posed a question to me the other day that was fascinating about this idea of building, cross-promoting, and then building a brand within a brand on the LinkedIn platform. And my imagination went crazy with this because I think it's worthy of discussion. And David and I are going to chat a little bit about the pluses and the minuses of doing this and the ramifications, the potential benefits, and also some things you need to watch out for. And then we'll share the video out and see what kind of discussion groups pop up. Does that sound like a good plan to you, David?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, great. So a little preamble here. Rotary is a service organization. If you're not a Rotarian, everybody, Rotary is one of the top service organizations, not just now in the world, but in the history of the world. We have 1.2 million Rotarians across the globe. And I think that's one of the early things that we should mention is that LinkedIn is not a popular social media platform in every country. Rotary is in almost 200 countries. We think about LinkedIn a lot in your country, David, Canada, and my country, the United States. So a little precursor before we even get going is if you live in a country where LinkedIn is not a popular format, you probably want to skip this video and go on to other things. Although I do think there is benefit in talking about cross promotion and finding ways to get a foothold with, say, potential members of your organization, whatever it is, on various platforms. And that's why David's suggestion to talk about LinkedIn really got my attention. You have some basis of understanding for LinkedIn. I think you told me that District 7090 has a LinkedIn page.
Yes, we have a LinkedIn group that's been functioning for longer than I have as a Rotarian. It was there when I stepped in. I wasn't aware of it. Some of our club members made me aware of it. And so that's when I started looking at that.
Okay. And that's an interesting little sidebar that you were Rotarian for a while and were unaware of it until somebody told you about it. That's an interesting little fold in this conversation that we need to climb down into. And then your club also has a group, or you're thinking about starting one?
Yes, the Rotary Club of Fonthill now has a LinkedIn group, which we started up basically out of a conversation that you and I had, Michael, about, we were covering off the Facebook group, we were covering off the Twitter account, the Twitter feed, the Instagram, but we didn't have a LinkedIn group. And we have a number of kind of young professionals, professionals of various ages who don't do Facebook, but they do LinkedIn.
Right.
So, and they had commented when I started posting to the district site, the district group, that they appreciated that because, they were missing out on a lot of the stuff that we were posting elsewhere. Yeah. So that kind of generated that thought that, let's start up a Rotary Club of Fonthill LinkedIn group.
So let's take these things one at a time. If you're taking notes, everybody, you might want to do a little like a T chart. It's called a T chart because it looks like a T. And then on one side of the T chart are the pluses and the other side are the minuses. I've got my own T chart going here. And one of the things occurs to me that on the positive side of the T chart, David, is that if, for example, your club, your district, your Rotary zone would be looking for Rotarians who happen to be frequenting the LinkedIn platform, that's probably a good place to, hang your shingle or drop a line in the water if you want to use the fishing analogy. I always tell people that you want to go where the fish are You want to fish where the fish are. So if you're looking for young professionals, 30 somethings, 40 somethings, people that are interested in networking and they're business people, right? They're still working. LinkedIn is like the perfect fishing hole. Perfect.
It is.
And
In fact, I have an
Rotary
account.
seems to be centered on Facebook, not so much interested in Twitter. I think Instagram is currently popular. This is November of 2021, everybody, 2021. And so it's in this order, I think. Facebook is most popular among Rotarians, then LinkedIn, then Twitter. Then Facebook, then Instagram, then LinkedIn, then Twitter is my perception. I could be wrong. So is there some low-hanging fruit down there in the LinkedIn reaches? So that's the plus side, that you could go fishing and catch some fish there. The negative to that is, there's only so many hours in a day. There's only so many people doing PI work, public image work. And do we want to really be on all these platforms? Because at some point the reason we're on Facebook is because people think that they're getting, their maximum ROI, return on investment, from that platform. The reason why nobody's on TikTok in Rotary is because they perceive that the investment and the ROI would be quite low on TikTok. They may be right. LinkedIn's in the middle there, So we want to be strategic about this. And I've used the phrase from time to time, once you create a Facebook group or a LinkedIn group or a Twitter account, you've got to feed the monster. And because the way the algos work, the algorithms, is you've got to be showing up once in a while, more than once in a while. You got to be regular and consistent. And then you've got to get some vibration from your following just to be seen, just to have your post seen by anybody. And this takes time and energy. And rule of thumb, everybody, I think somebody's got to own it. Somebody's got to own the account. My own club wanted to start a LinkedIn group a while back. And I said, okay, it's easy enough to start one. Maintaining it is another story. Are you willing to maintain it for the next 3 years? Because you starting one is not doing anybody any favors if you're bequeathing all of the hard work to somebody else, somebody that hasn't accepted the position, by the way. Does that make sense, David?
Yeah, it does. It does. And I think it does come down to meeting the needs of different types of people that are in your organization. And that's what I think we tend to fall into, the kind of the mindset that, well, what I'm interested in, kind of what triggers my attention, that's what everybody's interested in, but that's not actually the case. And kind of what we found out in our club was that we did have this subset of people who were followers of LinkedIn, but didn't even have a Facebook account.
Right.
So,
and it goes the other direction. Like seniors and people that are retired have no reason to be on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a business platform.
Exactly.
So let's say half of your club is retired. You're never going to get them to even join LinkedIn, let alone share on it. So now your club is not going to be properly represented on that platform.
Yeah.
But here's the really fascinating part, is that marketing is a form of time travel, right? Is that marketing is about creating the illusion of something that hasn't yet happened. So let's say you are a senior club, retiree club, and you want to pull in 40 somethings, maybe even 50 somethings, 30 something, people who are still actively in the workplace. You have to create that attraction on the platform, LinkedIn platform, right? And you're almost selling those people. You wouldn't actually deceive them, but you're like saying, well, yeah, we're a business-oriented club. You're really not yet. You want to be, which is why you're fishing for a particular kind of fish on LinkedIn, right? You're going after salmon.
Yeah.
But nobody in your club eats salmon currently.
That's very good. Yeah, like I had when I was working before I retired, I had a LinkedIn account, and it was full of all kinds of things. And I did find that when I retired, I canceled that account.
Yeah.
And it was only when the Rotary thing came up that I actually started an account again, because I realized if I'm going to do this public image gig, I've got to be on LinkedIn. because
Yeah.
there's a whole demographic that I'm missing if I'm not.
Yes. So we're going to look at a couple of Rotary LinkedIn accounts just to climb to the top of the hill and look around. Because the other thing that we don't want to just try to do things that other people are doing if they're not successful. So just because, and we'll use your district as a guinea pig in this session, just because your district has a LinkedIn page doesn't mean the zone should have one. It doesn't mean that the club should have one. Let's take a look at it and see if it's performing, right? Because we don't want to go down a trail that leads to a dead end. We were talking also about this idea of fishing. You not only want to fish where the fish are, you have to use bait that the fish likes to eat. So if you're going to position the club, the district, the zone, whoever on a LinkedIn platform, it better be professional development content, because the LinkedIn community is not interested in Paul Harris stuff. They don't even know what it is. And they're not interested in what you're having for lunch on Tuesday, right? Chicken. They may be interested in the speaker that's speaking at the lunch on Tuesday when you eat chicken. So you talk about the speaker on LinkedIn because that's what they're going to be interested in. It's like any other post on social. I always tell people on Facebook, you want at least 10 pieces of engagement. What's that? A share is worth the most points, then a comment, then a like, and then last but not least, those cheesy emoticons, because the emoticons mean a bunch of different things. A like only means one thing, thumbs up, I like it. And the comment colors it and moves the conversation forward. And the share is best of all because the share moves that, what you said, to their group, to their following. And that's the megaphone that everybody's chasing. That's true on LinkedIn as well. Let's take a look at the LinkedIn group for 7090, just to take a walk to the top of the hill. Is that okay with you?
Absolutely.
I'm going to share the screen quick. Here we are. This is the District 7090 LinkedIn page. We're just going to give it I call it flash acupuncture. We're going to stick a bunch of pins in it just to get a reading. And then we can maybe draw some conclusions. So for the uninitiated, District 7090 contains a certain number of Rotarians. Any idea how many?
Not off the top of my head, no, I don't have that number.
So most of the districts are coming in at about somewhere between 1,100, 1,300 Rotarians. And I noticed the LinkedIn group has 244. That's actually, some people would say, well, that's quite a low representation, 20%, less than 20%. But 244 is not bad, actually.
Yeah, I'm thinking probably if you look at the demographic of our membership being kind of in the professional community, active working, that's probably a good percentage of them.
Yes.
I don't know how those numbers actually shake out, but it would be interesting to look at to see.
Yep. And of course, we're talking here about quality. I also want to eventually look at quantity if we can. We'll try to do that. You can see that I've put in a request to join your group. Now that's interesting. I'm not a member of your district, but I'm taking enough of an interest. So that means people who are not in your district can join your group. Now, why would they ever want to do that, David?
Possibly because they want to reach out beyond their own district. They want to know what other districts are doing.
Right. How about the fact that your district has such amazing fundraisers or really good speakers? Districts don't have speakers the way clubs do, but we could make the same argument for a club LinkedIn group, that the club has such great information on their LinkedIn platform that all kinds of people from the community, actually all kinds of people from all over the world, are joining their LinkedIn group. Now that number becomes even more interesting. What number, how many of those 244 actually belong to 7090? Because if you created this 7090 group to recruit people into Rotary, the numbers are already into your district. The numbers are already skewed.
Correct.
Now, if you look at Rotary the way I do, it would be great if some of these people join our district. But you know what? If we've got Rotarians from all over the place, it's Rotary without boundaries, I'm good with that. but eventually here it becomes hard to measure exactly what's happening on this page. But I always come back to this number. Is it growing and are they happy? So I have already 11 connections in this group. And if I wanted to see who they were, I could just click here. And this is the magic that I think people forget about, because I can actually click on Sandy. You can see I'm a first connection with Sandy.
Yes.
Well, by definition, I guess I'm a first connection with all of these folks. That's why they're my connections.
Correct.
But if I wanted to see all of your followers, I guess I would have to join the group first, and then this would be clickable for me. Then I could click on see all 244. And then if I really wanted to dig in and connect, I could individually request, issue friendship requests or LinkedIn connections to all 244 if I wanted to. And this is what you want to teach people to do, because if they're in sales and they want to connect with other salespeople, that's easily searched on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the only social media platform that allows you to search titles. And to me, that's like the number, that saves me so much time when I'm trying to connect with people, when I'm prospecting for my own business. I'm a consultant, everybody. I do keynote presentations and I do a lot of sales training, teaching presentation skills. So I use LinkedIn all the time. I might type Michigan sales, and then everybody that's on LinkedIn in Michigan who's in sales comes up. I mean, this is a great, you've got to teach your working Rotarians to use LinkedIn in this way, and then this group becomes more valuable to them.
The other thing that you can do as a LinkedIn member is when you're in a group that you're a member of, you can invite all of your contacts.
That's right.
Join that group. I tend to go through my contact list and look for people that aren't members of the group that are Rotarians and invite them specifically.
Right. We've already said on the T-chart that we set up that one of the pluses to doing LinkedIn is that for building a Rotary brand is that you can take advantage of that Venn diagram. You know, all professional people who might be interested in systematic giving back would be interested in checking out Rotary. So that's good. And I love how now you're thinking about this cross-pollination thing, which is excellent. This group has 3 admins, our friend Al Lutchen, a guy named Paul. Now I see I'm connected already to Alexander as a first degree connection. Same with Michelle, but not with Paul. So he's low-hanging fruit for me, man. I can just go in here. I usually add a note because while my profile looks pretty professional and a lot of people accept my invitation just at face value, I find I get even higher acceptance if I give Paul a compliment. So I teach people how to do this. I like and admire your D7090 LinkedIn group. Well done. Now, he not only accepts my friendship, but he also might say, thank you. Now we've got some conversation going and we're off to the races. So that second degree connection will turn into a first degree connection, and he's working LinkedIn. He understands it. It also looks like Paul may be a younger person. You know, extra points for that in the Rotary world, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm back now to the group LinkedIn group page. And it looks like you guys are connected. If I'm reading, oh, these are other groups that I belong to. Mm-hmm. Just digging down now a little bit into the time frame. So I'm looking at frequency now in the post, because to feed the monster, it means regular posting and quality stuff that's getting vibrations from people. So I only have to go one day back. There's your retired moniker. We talked about that a minute ago. By the way, your moniker doesn't have to say retired.
You know what happened? You know, I got tired of receiving job offers.
Okay,
so I went into my profile and
you got tired of it, and now you're retired of it.
Yeah.
But think about this, David. When I see retired, when most people see retired, there's a connotation to the word, and the connotation is not necessarily positive. It's like, this guy's done. This guy's not doing anything. It's totally not true, but that's the connotation. You're also the public image chair for District 7090. Could that be your title here?
I'll have to look into that. Yeah.
Could that make you salmon?
Yeah.
And the
I will
answer,
definitely look into that.
and
Yeah.
the answer is yes, of course.
Yeah.
By the way, everybody could put Rotary in their signature file of their email. They could put Rotary in the they could put Rotary in their LinkedIn profile. Do you?
Yes, I believe so. Should be
Let's
there,
check. I trust you, but let's check.
but it's not prominent enough, is it? There you go.
Oh, here, but that's you're in a group, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm looking for your profile. Let me see where I find that. I thought it was here, but maybe not. About. Okay, I'm expecting to find it in here somewhere. Yep, Rotary showing up a bunch. Well, yep, there it is. So I'm looking for the R word. I'll show you mine in a minute too. You can see how I cross-pollinate. And it might inspire you to show some others. So I know we're going to see it more in the timeline too as we move forward, probably in the district page as well. Let's get back to the district.
You'll notice you've been accepted as a group member now, Michael.
Was that you?
Yeah.
Thank you. What changed? Let's see.
I think the content that you can see has changed probably.
Okay. Yeah, don't know yet.
Yeah.
But moving down into the timeline, we can see that only one day in, you posted. The retired David Schulz posted. And the post is, do you know how many? So it's fish bait because we're talking about the working world. Do you know how many employers match donations to the Rotary Foundation? What an excellent post, David. And you're also using hashtags, which is extra points. But the plot thickens down below. Nice looking infographic. No comments, not a single like until just now, and it was me. So a question for you. I'm going to guess that you're not liking any of your own posts. Why not?
I always found, or I don't know, maybe it's just, I always felt it was, I posted it, so I must like it, but it's a good point. Yeah.
So we call that salting the tip jar, right?
Yeah.
When the buskers are out playing guitar on the beach, they open up the guitar case and they draw. So they could not open their guitar case and probably get no tips, or they could open their guitar case and might get some tips. But research shows, street research shows that if they drop a single or a couple of singles or some coins into their guitar case, other people will do the same. And the smart ones drop a 10 spot in there because that visual trigger is very powerful. This is the psychology of marketing. So I always like my own stuff. You should too. And you should condition the other 3 champions of the website to do that. Now you'd have 3 likes here. You'd be on autopilot for that. It's time well spent. If nobody's like this, I think 2 things. I think I'm not going to like it. And I think, and I'm not going to read it. Those are the 2 things I think. Because nobody else cared for it. It's not how I should be, but you got to get through the day somehow, and there's only so many minutes. And I look at the popular stuff. Same thing with videos. If a video has very few views and the next one next to it has thousands of views, I click on, assuming the time is the same, the duration, and it looks like similar similar content, I click on the one that's getting all the traffic. It's got to be the better video. So this is a little bit of that bragging on yourself that we just talked about. You guys won the Public Image Award. Congratulations. And now you're showing everybody. And you got 3 likes on that one. So this is the post that's performing the best for you so far. Back to no likes, back to no comments. My friend, The tree is falling in the forest and nobody is there to hear a sound.
Very good point. It's interesting where the district PI committee is working on a presentation that we can provide to clubs to present, talking about exactly these things. So I've just got another thing to add to this, in terms of liking
Of
your
course,
own posts.
we're recording this call and the video will be available. I'm going to go give a keynote to some nurse practitioners in Traverse City this weekend, but when I get back early next week, I'll make the video pretty, share it to the Zone 28 and 32 Facebook group, and then you can share it from there, or I can send it the raw copy to you, whatever's best. But I want to show you a trick right now that I'm very proud of. I don't know anybody else that does this, but I've had great success with it. So you won this award, and now you're sharing it to LinkedIn. I'm on a Mac right now, so to do a screen share on a Mac, what do you have, PC or a Mac?
PC.
Yeah, so PC, you use a snippet tool, and you can just do a snippet of whatever part of the screen you want to do. But on a Mac, it's the claw, right? So it's Control Command 4, which creates this little crosshairs thing that I'm moving around. See if I can zoom in first. I really can't. So I just do the crosshair thing. Oops. And then what I can do is select this little image. So it's the image and the copy. Watch my lower right corner of my screen. It's down here now. I just created a JPEG. Now, what can I do with that JPEG? I can share it to the Facebook platform where all the Rotarians are fishing. One thing I can do is I can just kind of casually mention, I just posted this to the 7090 LinkedIn page. What now? We have a LinkedIn page? Another thing I can do is if you click this globe, this will create the date timestamp of this unique message. Is that right? Is it here? Nope, my bad. It's the actual day time frame. Here, 1 day. Watch. So right now, the LinkedIn, that's the unique URL for this page. Can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Watch how it changes when I click 1 day. And now this link is that exact post. I can share this link anywhere on the internet, and it will take them to that post that we were just looking at, this one. Isn't that cool?
That is awesome.
It doesn't take them to the LinkedIn group where the timeline has been moving and moving and moving and moving. It takes them to this exact graphic.
That's fantastic.
Yes. So part of this, when you go fishing and you're not catching anything, you yell across the bay to the other people and the fish, how they're biting over there, right? Because you want to know where the fish are biting. And so you want to drop this LinkedIn fish bait in front of people on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, your newsletter, your website, your district website. Hell, you can even put it in a text to people if you want, because now it'll be a URL that you can just send them.
Mm.
Okay. And those are some of the best ideas I have for using LinkedIn to move forward. I would suggest too that good goals have numbers. And so, well, there's one thing that went away, the number of people in your group. When I became a member, I couldn't see the number of people anymore.
If you click on listed, will that? Huh. Oh, and top right. Look
oh, up
up
there, yeah, it just moved. Okay, different interface. There it is.
Yeah.
Oh, and then there's the see all. And there's your point earlier. This is where I can save, I can invite people. Right, my connections to join the group. And I can do it one at a time, right? I want to be strategic about this. I want to invite people that are likely to accept, because some of these platforms, you can gum up the pipeline with a bunch of people that haven't accepted, and then LinkedIn sends you a warning and says you've invited too many people. So just invite people that you think are likely to join. But here's that button that allows you to see everybody in the group. We were talking about this earlier. 245 members. And now I can actually see how many are, well, at least promoting Rotary in their byline. Some people say this might not be a very good use of your time, but if you really wanted to get to know your group and who was with you, this is the place to go. So just for comparison purposes, I'm not bragging. I don't do LinkedIn as well as a lot of people do. But just to see how I'm promoting LinkedIn. If we go to my profile, so it's going to be a different interface because I'm logged into my own account.
Mhm.
But you can see I just liked a bunch of stuff from those rascals in 7090. But if you look at my posts in particular, which are here, posts and activity, and then posts, this is the content that I'm generating. I just recorded a video. I had my stem cells collected a while back for future healing. I don't know if you know about how that works. They pull out your young stem cells and then they can put them in your old body later on.
Oh,
And this is the guy that's hosting my stem cells. It's called Forever Labs. And I interviewed the CEO on my podcast. So then I posted the video here for people to watch, right? So I tagged Talk to Me, which is the name of the podcast, Stem Cell, and Innovation. I just did it this morning or yesterday, 4 likes and a comment. The comment was, you guessed it, me. So I'm salting the tip jar. So we'll see what happens with that. Only 2 pieces of engagement. Remember I said on Facebook, you want to try to get 10. I get better engagement on Facebook than I do on LinkedIn for some reason. Don't know why. But 68 views. This one had 121. Can you guess why? What am I sharing there? And what am I sharing here? 121 versus 68. The 121 is a video. People love video.
yeah.
And it's long form video. Oh my God, it's 36 minutes. But they took interest in it. 121 views of the post in the feed. Doesn't mean they watched the video. 68 of this black and white, low def Flintstone graphic. It's not the best graphic I've ever posted. Video of yours truly did not do very well. That hurts my feelings. 61 views. But this one did. What's the difference? This was a selling tip. This one was a presentation tip. The selling tip got 61 views. The presentation tip got 139, almost twice as many. I'm paying attention to that. By the way, I teach presentation skills for a living. This is what people recognize as my forte. So we're 3 best times to promote events. We can guess, how's it going to do? Only 51 views. So like I say, I'm learning just like everybody else, but frequency is important. You see there's several posts a day, and I'm just trying to pull my load and get the algo to open up for me on LinkedIn.
Are you able to see on YouTube how far people tend to be watching the video through? Like how long?
There are tools for that, analytic tools, yes, but I don't believe YouTube may even offer it in YouTube analytics.
I'm just thinking about people's attention span and you know, how long they'll watch a video. I know for myself, when I look at a video, I will look at the length of it and decide whether I've got the time or the attention span to watch that whole thing, right? And I am more attracted to short snippets, something that I can look at and get a key message from in 15 to 30 seconds.
Right. Well, you know, the reverse angle of that, because it's like a window pane, right? These are the people that are trying to see your video, and this is you trying to get them to see your video.
Mm-hmm.
So the opposite side of the window is what can I do in the first 20 seconds of the video to make sure you keep watching?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you watch a lot of videos that come up, especially from the Rotary world, that they're just lame at the beginning. There's no energy at all. Somebody forgot to edit, clip out that dead spot at the beginning. And people are making decisions, man. And they're leaving the sinking ship as fast as they can because this person doesn't know, this person doesn't value my time. So I was not a big fan of editing, and now I am. I'll clip that front of that video because otherwise, again, the tree's falling in the forest and nobody's hearing it. What other kinds of thoughts do you have here now that we've had a chance to do a deeper dive on cross-marketing Rotary on LinkedIn? Earlier on, when we were getting ready for the call, I was asking you, well, is it better to have a LinkedIn presence for the club because the club can recruit Rotarians to the club, where the district and the zone really don't do that? The zone can do a nice overall promo piece for Rotary, but nobody ever joins the Rotary through the zone group because it's too hard to figure out where they would land. You got to get into a district, you got to get into a club, all that's geocentric. What do you think?
I really haven't, I don't have a conclusion on that yet. I'm not sure. I think it depends on what your motivation for having the group is. Are you trying to promote events?
That's right.
At the club level, sure you are. You're trying to get local people to notice and come to your meetings and, see your speakers and that kind of thing. So I like your idea about having, about trying to attract your Facebook users over into LinkedIn. But I'm not sure. It'd be interesting to do an experiment with that to see how many people you actually would have join both.
Yeah. So we're talking now about clubs, districts, and zones having a LinkedIn presence. If clubs, if we could argue that clubs, and again, everybody, we're not deciding today, we're not telling you what to do. We're just two Rotarians trying to puzzle it out, man. Right?
Yeah.
We want you to do, David and I want you to do what works. We don't want you to do what we tell you to do. We want you to do what works. And we're trying to make sense of what would work in advance to save you the trouble. So if we could argue that a Rotary club presence on LinkedIn would lead to more members, maybe we could, by extension, think that a Rotary district presence could promote large events, like say a district conference where you're having some national or international speakers come in, which isn't unusual. Also sponsorships at the district level. And that zone presence with public image, with Rotary on LinkedIn could be about media attention or overall, paying it forward kind of a thing. I don't know. And I'm not saying, by the way, you should create all three of these monsters and feed them, right? But it's interesting, and I'm listening carefully when you say it depends on what your goals are for the LinkedIn platform.
And that will determine what you feed them at the
That's
various levels, the different groups.
That's right. One other thing I wanted to mention before we go is that there are kings and queens on all the platforms. When I say king and queen, I'm identifying simply two genders, and that there are people that do exceptionally well on Facebook that don't give a rip about LinkedIn. People that do well on LinkedIn don't care about Twitter. You need to find champions for the Rotary cause on all of the platforms that you're playing on. So just because somebody's good at Facebook, promoting Rotary on Facebook, doesn't mean they would be good at promoting Rotary on LinkedIn. It could even be it could be a different skill set. It could be a different age demographic. It could be. I like to go after people when I'm creating champions in public image. People that have a VEN. They have a vested interest in promoting on LinkedIn. It's like recruiting a photographer to your club because the club needs a photographer. The guy's a photographer for his business. So there's a VEN for him, right? Mm-hmm. What if you could get marketing people, specifically somebody that specialized in LinkedIn, to rep Rotary on LinkedIn. Oh my gosh, bonus points for that.
Mhm.
So these are some of the high-end ideas. I'm interested in seeing how the discussions play out when the video gets out there. Has this been helpful to you, sir?
Very much so. I think I've actually written down a few ideas here, and always a few quotes from you, Michael. I
Thank you
like
very
that
much.
salting the guitar case one. That's my takeaway today.
And now I'm hungry for fish. I don't know how that'll be.
Yeah.
Listen, I wanted to thank you for all you do for public image in Rotary, not just in your club, in your Fonthill club, but also in District 7090. And know that your lessons and your examples are bleeding out into other parts of the Rotary world. A rising tide raises all boats, and you, sir, are exemplary in how you approach this. Very thoughtful and deliberate, and you execute. And I appreciate that about you.
Thank you, Michael. Same back to you. I think what you're doing is just promoting Rotary and helping people to develop their presentation skills, because we're all presenters out there. I think that was another quote from you, is that everything we do is a presentation. So we need to learn to do it better.
Let's promote our various causes here before we leave. The Fonthill Rotary Club is represented on Facebook, correct? And also,
Correct. Yes.
also LinkedIn.
Yes, and Twitter.
As is District 7090. The Rotary Zones 28 and 32, David and I are both in Zone 28, has a Facebook group that you can join and get more of this kind of content, because both David and I are contributing content to that group. So that's Rotary Zone 28 and 32 on Facebook. I also have a group that's just for marketing people, particularly people looking to market Rotary on Facebook. It's called Get the Word Out Now. David's a member of that group, and we are very careful in that group that the content is highly curated, and we're focused on helping people do three things in the Get the Word Out Now group: grow their club, raise more money, and get attention for the greatest service organization in the world, Rotary International. David, thank you so much for being on with me today. I appreciate you. Can't wait to meet you in person, man.
Yeah, well, it's going to happen soon. We got the borders open.
You bet. Thanks for all you do.
All right. Thank you.